BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So, welcome to 50 Minutes of Experience. Today I'm with Joe Welbes, and we will talk with him and analyze the picture. So amazing he do it about Texas and not Holly. And so welcome, Joe.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure for me. So can you introduce a bit you, and then we can step out from that and go more deeper inside of your work and your persona?
Sure, yeah. Currently, I'm living in Austin, Texas, born and raised in Texas, but left for a number of years, moved out to California, moved up to Canada, and then somehow made it back to Austin back in 2009, maybe. And yeah.
So what do you do in your life? First of all, I'm really curious about that. If you are a photographer, if your work, your job is totally something else.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not totally something else. I'm in the advertising industry, so I do deal with kind of arts and passion in a way, but I'm not making my livelihood off my photography at the moment. It's definitely a hobby that I truly enjoy, especially since COVID and lockdown and everything. It's really been a great outlet for me and my passion, my creativity, and everything like that.
Really impressed from the work you do. It's really minimalistic in a way, and keeping the attention on the evolution and of the field and the country in general, and your eyes really keeping this returning of the stuff. So it's like you give a life to something is already dead, and for mostly, and for others, I'm really interested in this vision of the object, of the architecture, of the design of what you find during your walk. And I would love to know more about how did you start taking pictures, and then probably analyze the details of what you do actually.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it all started, growing up, we always had a camera in my house. Always film, this is before digital cameras were around. And I grew up in the suburbs of Houston, and my outlet was going to magazine stores and seeing photography or seeing movies, just trying to ingest as much art and media about the rest of the world as possible, because suburban life is very insulated and homogenized in one note in a way. So that kind of like fueled my ideas of, what art can be and what else is out there, right? So once I moved to San Francisco, I just always had a camera on me and would, take somewhat street photography in a way, or just shoot things that I thought looked cool, or, interesting moments. And, at the time I was focusing on a career in ballet. And so a lot of my, it takes up a lot of time, right, to focus on dance and hone that craft. So I was kind of juggling those two at the same time. And then I ended up getting a digital camera in maybe like 2010, and I literally just wasn't feeling it. It was a beautiful camera. It took really nice shots and everything else, but it was just, I didn't realize it at the time. I thought I was done with photography. I was done with walking around and taking pictures. But I just wasn't feeling the digital aspect. So once I got back into film, I was like, oh, it wasn't that I had lost my passion for taking photos. It was just I wasn't doing what was right for me and what I'm trying to say. right? And moving to my current work, as you said, I've been going out and about around Texas and kind of like shooting different things that are hanging on for dear life in a way, and things that have passed their prime but are still beautiful in a way. And those have been my subjects as everyone's been inside, and I've been trying to find beauty and style and hone my craft and learn from every photo, just as often as possible. I try to shoot every day. Obviously when I'm actually juggling a job and a family and everything else, that's not possible. So I find a lot of time on the weekends to just get in my car, start driving, and research spots, look for different places to shoot, and then not be afraid to derail my path and just keep going down the road and see what else is out there.
Yeah, I totally understand what you mean. And I was thinking also, I could not imagine how it happens, the connection between you and this magic moment of taking a picture. And I would like to ask you, can you try to explain how it happened, this moment that you feel the impulse to grab an images and to take it in your bag with you, but in metaphorical way?
Yeah. I think a lot of it, man, I have a huge Tupperware bin filled with photos from the 90s, the early 2000s, like forever. And it's all these photos have led up to how I take photos now, right? So if I'm taking photos, say it's of my daughters or of people, I'll know how to frame it up and wait for the right moment, just because of all the learnings that I've had in the past, right? And it's not necessarily making the moment; it's waiting for it to happen and knowing to pull the trigger, and capture it.
Yeah, I got, and it's, I think, pretty similar to what happened to me also. I have to say that probably I stopped some years ago to see the world in the way you see the world, and probably also because I'm not anymore in this kind. I mean, I'm not in Italy anymore. I'm in Germany, and I don't have the possibilities to drive along to villages. So then I don't have the possibilities to find out that realities. And my eyes moved on subject are more from the street, and so grab more the attention on the trash, on the where the human pass, So in a way, it's my point of view is more on the actual trash than to the past beauty that actually is there abandoned, no? So
Absolutely.
it's absolutely one of the object, the subject is more common in your picture, especially in your website. And to jump in your website, I'm curious now that you have two work projects. They are coming soon. One is this two show pass, and the one and another is no service, but they are in both in coming soon. So then now I should ask you, can you try to explain them in words without picture? I mean, because I cannot watch the pictures, so then they are incoming soon. So now I
Yeah. Well, before I explain them a little bit, to what you were saying, you shoot what is around you, right? I'm not in New York. I'm not going to be taking street photos of people and random magic moments that happen. I'm not, in the beautiful Pacific Northwest and taking beautiful scenery. I'm shooting what's around me, right? And I think, it's up to us to find that, whether you're stuck in a garage, find a good photo, or if you're stuck in your backyard, just make it happen. Because I mean, it's a beautiful process, and it's learning every day, and there's something amazing about that. But so the current projects I'm working on, I'm planning two books, and I just want to get them out because I have these concepts that are story related, and you know, the concepts for this too shall pass, you know, it's a very broad statement, but it's just something that has helped me and helped, and hopefully can help others, you know, surviving the turmoil that was 2020. You know, it's not going to be about the pandemic, it's about all the beauty around the pandemic. And there's no masks, there's no protest. I mean, as you might know, you know, my country was in a tailspin this time last year, which had everyone scratching their heads. And the only way that I got through it was through photography, you know, and going out and creating these things, and
Yeah.
you know, finding the beauty in this world. Whereas No Service, that's focused on travels to West Texas, that I'm halfway done with. I made a huge mistake of not testing out one of my film backs for my RB67, and there was light leaks all over all my photos. So now I have to plan another trip out west to complete that. That's going to be a much smaller project. It might end up being a zine or something. But these are just two concepts that I want to get out so I can move on and change my style. You know, one beautiful thing about photography is it doesn't have to be one thing, right? I don't want to be, oh, that's that guy that shoots fruit or whatever. No, I just constantly want to evolve and challenge myself and push new things and new interests that I want to focus on, whether it be a more journalistic style, whether it be, like you said, architecture style. I just want to try it all, you know?
So just because you mentioned that of the style, I want keep to give you a challenge. Sometimes, yeah, if you hear about my podcast, sometimes I give challenge. And yeah, in this case, I would love to know more. I mean, I know now that you go out during the weekend, that sometimes you're doing this small trip, and what is your eyes keep focus on. And I have just seen probably just one picture about your private life. And I'm asking to myself, okay, man, just show your private life now.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a little wary about, you know, showing my children
Not
on the
only your
internet.
children. I mean, not
Yeah,
only your
yeah, yeah,
children.
yeah,
I can get it because I don't publish picture of my children.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I will say probably they are the best picture I've did in my life, because especially yeah, some months ago we did this picture where he was jumping, and I was taking the picture from the under part, you know, and it was kind of flight on me. It was really funny.
Yeah, just perfect, right? Well, I mean, I'm also a private guy in a way. You know, I have tons of photos of my children. You know, they are my subjects for probably 50% of my photos. I just don't share them because I am kind of private. But I like what you're saying about, you know, sharing more private, more about my private life, because they're, you know,
Yeah, I know. I mean,
it's hard on. I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and constantly myself. But
probably the right choice in this case is, yeah, come up after 10, 20 years when your children are already major, no, and yeah, come up with a book or something like that. Will be amazing. And I see about your project, your work you explained it before. Did you already figure it out? How did you publish them? We will do it. You will do it alone. You will do it with the editor. You will do it.
yeah, so I'm currently looking at a couple publishing places, and just haven't pulled the trigger on which way I'm going to go. You know, whether is it going to be hardback and this, that, and the other. So those details are still being worked out. But meanwhile, I have, you know, a substantial amount of photos. The book itself, if I printed it right now, it'd be like 100 pages. So there are some editing issues that I still need to focus on to whittle it down, to share it with some close friends and get their take on it, to see if the flow and the story is making sense to others besides myself, you know, because it makes sense to me, but of course I'm making it, right? So yeah, I'm still in process of like figuring out how
I will be really curious to see. I'm a editor, so then it's my curiosity now to see this prof book. But I want to just ask you a last question, and I want to know more about. There is something happened in your life that touched you a lot, and that's because you was getting in touch with photography, because you was doing photography, that you find out that you was connecting with something was really big, and then you find out that probably if you was not doing photography in your life, you was not connecting with these things.
Yeah. Well, a moment that stands out to me, I was seeing Walker Evans' work at the MoMA in New York, and I was sick that morning. I was not feeling good. I remember, going to the MoMA is amazing. It's huge. We were there for a few hours, but I was just constantly like, okay, where's the bathroom? I'm not feeling good. And we went to the section where Walker Evans' photographs were, and I was just like, holy crap! Like, there are photos in the subway, up close, very intimate, work that I had never really seen before. And I remember just being like, how do you make that? How did you? It doesn't get more real than that, right? And if I can translate that realism in from my own point of view, what is that going to look like, right? So I think all artists can blend into different mediums. So if I played a trumpet, what would it sound like? If I did this, what would it sound like? And because I had a love for photography, I'm still finding that, like, what is this going to look like? And that kind of fuels my passion.
Yeah. So I thank you a lot for this talk. I will love to go on, but the format, I will to respect in a way the format. It's never 50 minutes in the end.
Yeah.
But we can probably doing some other podcast and going more on the details of some picture I have seen and I would love to talk about. And probably also we can talk about some topic touches you or something you would like to experience in the near future. But I thank you a lot for your time and your talk and this talk. Really,
awesome.
really appreciate.
Yeah, I appreciate you reaching out to me, man. This has been great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So I hope for a next podcast with you. And for everyone who want to see the work of Joe, and will be link in description. And will be nice if someone want to make a vocal comment. Just we find the link in description in the end. Just press start recording and send us your message. So thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/BerlinExplorer or visit our Instagram and follow BerlinExplorer project.